Today we're talking about fisting. Boom.
This is supposed to be a very short, quick, and crass response that I've put together. So the production quality here is very, very low. It's not my intention to have a high production quality whatsoever. In fact, I think I want it low so it can deter a lot of people who are just after bells and whistles, because I know that the people who really want the information will actually suffer through the poor production quality. So perhaps it's a technique to get to the right people who are really interested in this. And later on, I will probably polish this and create it into my own specific content for people. I'm just testing to see what YouTube does with this, because it is quite controversial content, even though I'm not explicitly showing anything, but I'm testing to see where I can go with information, specifically because the video that I'm drawing from has been quite successful. So let's see how we go. You're listening to the Mistress Code. I'm RacyWilde.
Now, the name fisting might seem obvious, but for those of you who don't know what it is, let me just briefly explain. Fisting is effectively taking fingering 1 or 5 steps further. What we're aiming for with fisting is to actually insert the whole hand down to at least the wrist, hence the name fisting. Fisting can be enjoyed vaginally or anally, but as you can probably imagine, we are pushing the limits of your body here, so there are a few do's and don'ts to consider, and I'm going to run you through those now.
So what I'm going to do is review this video. It's produced by LoveHoney to sell products. They have 224,000 views. Now, I must admit, it was posted 8 years ago, so they probably didn't know that much back then. But the reason why I want to review this is because I have found that videos like this on the internet, on YouTube, by companies that are supposed to be legit are very destructive, because they have no clue what they're talking about. They have no experience, and they're not giving everyone the correct information. And you might see my lovely feet in the video. This is so you know that I'm a real person. So let's go through what they're talking about.
Number 1, remove anything that could scratch your partner internally. So this includes trimming your fingernails, removing body jewelry, rings, anything like that. Anything you think could potentially scratch inside your partner's body.
This also includes if you have any sores on your hands, you should not be fisting. Or if you are fisting, you need to use gloves, and I would recommend medical gloves. And I will tell you later why, because we go into this. So if you have any sores on your hands, I would not recommend doing any fisting. Also, if somebody's ass has any sores on it or around it or any abrasion, because during the cleaning process, they have cleaned their ass too hard, I would not recommend doing fisting. Okay, so it's not just about the hands, it's also about the integrity of the ass. So you need to make sure that somebody's ass is healthy as well before you even attempt fisting. That also means that their stomach and intestines are also healthy, that they do not have any sore stomachs or upset stomachs, and that they are doing regular normal poops. If they are not, that is a signal to show that they are not healthy, and you do not want to fist someone who is not healthy on the inside. This is something that these guys don't talk about.
2, wash your hands. Sex play is always safer when you're clean, so the cleaner the better. Clean hands reduces the risk of infection.
And also the ass needs to be washed. An ass needs to be at least douched, okay, before you even attempt fisting. This is to avoid any accidents, but it's also about respect for your partner. The other thing, you should always practice douching before you even attempt any anal or fisting. So you need to know what happens to your body when you do douche. So when it comes time for you to do anal play, you know how your body reacts. You know how to keep it safe, because there's a lot of times when people douche and they're overzealous or they douche too much and therefore their body is compromised for anal play. So in order for you to have successful anal play, you need to be well practiced in douching first, because this is what keeps your body safe. It's also what keeps the experience as hygienic as possible. This is something that they do not talk about.
Number 3, wear a fisting mitt.
This is bizarre. Okay, you don't wear a fisting mitt like this. One of the reasons is because you can't really feel it. It's so thick, you cannot feel properly what's going on. I would always recommend medical gloves. One of the reasons is because your fingers are all free. They're all separated, which is very, very important for when you want to insert yourself into somebody's body. A fisting mitt like this prevents 100% control over your hand. You cannot keep this on. It will slide off. It's so loose. How are you supposed to warm up and go slowly? With one finger, with 2 fingers, with 3 fingers? You can't. All your fingers are together in this. And the other problem is you cannot clean it constantly. With medical gloves, you can take them off regularly and put another one on. With something like this, it would be quite expensive. You'll only have one. And in order to clean in between insertions, because you don't insert just once, right? If you've ever done anal play, you do not insert just once. You do it slowly and you do it continuously, and you go in and out and you allow the arse to have rest. Using something like this can actually make it messier and dirtier and unsafe. So do not use one of these at all. I beg you. The fact that they're saying that you use this shows that they're amateurs. And it seems like the whole reason why they have done this video is to sell you one of these.
Number 4, use loads of lube. I cannot stress this enough. Lube, 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 lube. Whether you are exploring vaginal fisting or anal fisting, you are going to need lubricant. As we all know, the anus is not self-lubricating, so no matter what you're doing in that area, that always needs lube.
Okay, so she's incorrect there. The anus is self-lubricating. This is one of the ways that you get your poop out. The anus actually provides a jelly-like substance to help slide your poop out. But the thing is, there's just not enough, and it doesn't get lubed because of sexual arousal. She does talk about lube at the end of the video, but yes, you do need a lot of lube, but if you use the right lube, you don't need to overdo it. So you want to use the correct amount of lube to keep the body safe. Too much lube actually compromises the body, and it also compromises cleanliness.
Whether you use lube for other vaginal play or not, I always recommend you use lube for fisting. As I said at the beginning, we are pushing the body to quite an extreme limit here, and even if your lady partner gets quite wet down below, it's still not going to be the same kind of lubrication you need. You need something quite thick, very slippery, and lots of it. The other thing you need to check when it comes to lube are the ingredients. So if you're exploring vaginal play, make sure that the lube is female friendly, and always avoid lubes that have numbing agents. Now, this is something you'll see quite a lot in fisting and extreme play lubricants. They'll use a numbing agent. I highly recommend against using this. Your partner should be able to tell if something's not quite right for them, and using a numbing agent is something that I always advise you avoid at all costs.
I've never used a numbing agent, and I've never known any fistee to use a numbing agent. What they might use is poppers to help relax the arse. But no way do you want to use a numbing agent, because the whole point of fisting is for you to feel it, right? If you're not feeling it, that is a problem for safety, but it's also a problem for pleasure. So I don't know what she's talking about using numbing. Maybe she's talking about vanillas. I've never heard of anybody using a numbing agent for fisting at all. She is correct. If you're doing vaginal fisting, you want to make sure the lube is correct for a woman's flora. If it's got sugar in it, it can create problems for a woman. But one of the things that I do recommend is a combination between a water-based and a silicone-based. Now, the reason is because water-based lubes dry out very quickly, whereas the silicone maintains the slipperiness. And as I mentioned before, it becomes difficult to keep on reapplying. And when you keep on reapplying, you get a lot of buildup. So you don't want to have too much lube. You want to have enough for safety and for health.
Number 5, set up a safe word. Fisting is what we would class as quite serious sex play, and with all serious sex play, a safe word is best. So just agree on a phrase or a signal that means you want play to stop straight away, just in case you need it.
Now, this shows that she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's presuming first that fisting is like BDSM and power dynamics. It's not. Safe words are specifically for domination, and the reason why you use safe words is because you're disregarding no's and you're disregarding stop. So a safe word replaces no and stop. This is the primary reason you use safe words. When it's a casual situation, there's no power dynamics, you just tell your partner how you feel. You say, no, I don't like that. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to say that hurts. You're allowed to say stop. So I have no idea why she is going here. It just shows that she has no clue about what she's talking about. She has no clue about BDSM, and she has no clue about power dynamics. She also has no clue about fisting.
Number 6. Number 6 is communication. Number 7 is warm up. When I say warm up, I mean get your partner ready. Again, no matter whether this is vaginal play or anal play that you're exploring here, your partner needs to be relaxed and warmed up. This includes dirty talk, foreplay, using smaller toys beforehand. Make sure that they are both mentally and physically relaxed before you try getting your whole hand inside.
Now, she's just saying warm up. It sounds like she's saying make sure that they're aroused. When we're talking about foreplay, that's about inducing arousal. If this is first time anal play, I would not recommend someone being aroused, because arousal actually blocks some of your pain sensors, and sometimes you register pain as pleasure. So if you're doing this for the first time, you do not technically want to raise your arousal, because then you can't truthfully sense what is happening to your body. Now, the problem is she's just saying, do warm-ups. No. What you need to do is pre-practice. Like, before anybody should be doing anal on you, you should have done anal on yourself. Whether that is practicing through stretching, using butt plugs, or using dildos to actually stretch up to the size of a human hand. Sometimes this takes months. Sometimes this takes years if you do it slowly and so the body is protected. This is not just something you jump into. This is a long-term goal. You don't just all of a sudden one day decide to do fisting and then 10 minutes before you do it, you just warm up. That is how you damage your body. Fisting is a long-term goal. Before you even decide to do it with a partner, you need to know what your body is capable of. You also need to train it yourself safely, slowly. You also need to know how it makes you feel on your own before you're with someone. The reason is so you can have personal experience with fisting, so you can tell if anything is wrong, that you can actually have something to judge the difference from what it feels like alone and what it feels like with somebody else, because those differences will keep you safe. They will also help you have a successful time, because then you will be able to guide your partner into what feels good and what is safe for you. If you don't know and you're just relying on your partner to get to know your body within the next 10 minutes, that is a recipe for disaster. You need to know your body first. Don't allow someone else to know your body before you know your body. That is unsafe. So if you are serious about fisting, you need to do it yourself first. You need to practice stretching and preparing your body. You also need to learn how your body can be pleasured through fisting as well. So you need to take time, at least 2 to 3 months, practicing your body, practicing douching, practicing what your body needs in order for it to be safe and in order for it to heal afterwards as well. What she's saying isn't good enough. And I'm highly alarmed that she's almost saying that you can just jump in and do it. No. That is unsafe, and that is disrespectful, and that is not being responsible for you or for your partner.
Number 8.
Go slow.
Number 9, one step at a time. So I've touched on warming up and going slow, and the best way to do this is to take it one finger at a time. So just as you would with any other foreplay, start slow and small and build yourself up. The idea is that you start with one finger, build up to 2, and then you work up to 3. And once she or he can happily accommodate 4 fingers, that's when you're going to start thinking about introducing your thumb.
Okay, so what happened to the fisting glove? You can't do 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3 fingers when you're wearing that glove that she showed. So her information isn't lining up here. What you want to do is wear medical gloves, as I've mentioned before. Now the problem is it's not about the fingers, okay? The broadest part of your hand to get it in is your knuckles, right? Your knuckles. So no matter how many fingers you put in, it's still not going to be as wide as your knuckles. So you need, in order to get the fist in, you need to go slowly to go over your knuckles. So it's not about the fingers, it's about the knuckles. And that's the part that you need to go very, very slow with. And you need to wait for the body. When you're actually going in, you can apply a little pressure, but you need to wait for the body to open up. You should not push or force your way in. The body has a wonderful way of relaxing, and sometimes it even sucks you in when it's ready though. So it's not really about the fingers. If you're only up to the finger stage, you are not ready for fisting. In fact, it is best to practice with a butt plug first that is the same diameter as your fist. That's the only way to make sure that you have stretched far enough to actually receive a whole fist properly.
Number 10, when it comes to the point that you think you're ready to get the thumb involved, the idea is to go for a tapered shape. So when we think of the word fist, we often think of a shape like this. But as you can see, when we make this sort of shape with our hand, it's got a very flat top, and that's not exactly conducive to inserting into anything, especially a small hole in a body. Just as you'll see with a lot of sex toys, the shape you want to aim for is a tapered shape. You can see this demonstrated in some of my lovely fists I have decorating my set today. So we're effectively trying to create this sort of a shape with your hand. So you've got to all 4, you want to sort of taper them in and bring your thumb in exactly like this. As you can see, that's a lot easier to insert into a body than this.
So what you need to do, and this is the thing that they're not talking about, you need to turn your hand, right? Like this. This is how you need to do it. You can't go in like this. You need to turn your hand, and the reason is because the way the butthole is like a slit. It is not round. The butthole entrance is not round. It's more like a slit that follows your ass crack. So it means that you need to make sure that your knuckles are not going in like this. They are going in like this. Okay? That's the easiest way to do it. So you follow the entrance of the person's body.
Once you've managed to get your forefingers and your thumb inside your partner, now is the point that you can start to experiment with sensations. Unlike fingering, you're not aiming for a thrusting or a come hither kind of motion with this play, and it's about much more subtle movements. If you think about it, your hand is already doing a great job of stimulating a large area inside the body. So whilst you're inside, really quite small movements is all you'll need. So you might find that just a slight rock or a twist is really quite effective at stimulating everywhere.
Okay, so the thing that she's not explaining is that sometimes you can't get into a fist. You might put all your hand in up to your wrist, but because of the way the person is formed inside, after you've entered with a long hand like this, you might not be able to close into a fist at all. It depends on their cavity inside. It depends on their unique anal structure. So don't even think about actually going into a fist, right? Think about working with their body. If their body allows you to do this, fantastic. But sometimes bodies might only allow you to do this. You can't get into a full fist at all, right? So you need to work with the person's body. You don't just automatically go into the fist because that is the goal. No. The goal about fisting is to get your whole hand in up to your wrist, whether you're making a full fist like this or not. Sometimes this is enough and this works with the person's body, right? So it's not about getting this shape at all. It's about getting in your whole hand up to your wrist.
Number 12, use more lube. Basically, keep reapplying. If you're a little bit unsure as to whether you're slippery enough, that means you're not. So just keep layering it on, basically. Number 13, when you come to the end of play, it is just as important to take it slow on the way out as it is on the way in. Even if whilst you've been inside him or her, you've managed to close to more of a traditionally shaped fist, on the way out, do return to, as best you can, that tapered shape for easy removal. Don't fist pump, okay? None of this. It's not porn. Nobody wants that. Like I said earlier, small movements. That's all you need.
So she's talking about not jiggling your fist around in the ass and no punching. Not as beginners, of course not. But when you get more advanced, this is one of the ways that you can create arsgasms. Like I've punch fisted men and they have multiple arsgasms over and over, like 6 a minute. And it's amazing for them because it's more intense than a cock orgasm. So the fact that she's saying don't do this, it's like, not as a beginner, no. But it's something that you might consider building up to if you want to try and do multiple orgasms, especially if you're a dude. Sometimes people have arsgasms without any movement, but in my experience, the movement, the rigorous movement actually helps. Now, when you're punch fisting, you don't actually pull the fist out of the body. You keep the whole fist inside the body and you just do the movement from there. So it doesn't sound as violent as you think. It's actually just a really rigorous, tight little punching to actually work the prostate and work the area. It has the potential of releasing multiple orgasms. So, you know, the other thing people get worried about, destroying the ass. Now, if you prepare for months in advance, training and stretching, and do it slowly, then you'll not hurt your ass at all. The problem is overstretching before your ass is ready for it. And this is why you need to train it slowly to build up to the stretch. And I've known men that have done fisting in their 20s, they stopped in their 30s, and then when they go back in their 40s, it's like they're virgins again. You have to start retraining their ass from scratch. So when you do it properly and slowly, it doesn't cause lasting effects on your ass at all. When you stop, you will be as tight as normal, as if you were never trained. So the key is very long, lots of training, knowing your body. One of my biggest double fisters, he took 6 years to be able to handle 2 fists punching. So he was amazing, but his ass was so healthy and so fit. So it's possible if you are dedicated and have the passion for it.
Are experiencing any kind of discomfort or pain, just stop. Make sure you communicate with your partner. This is the perfect time to use your safe word.
Now they're talking about pain a lot. The thing is that you do receive pain by being fisted. And sometimes that pain is the whole point. But this is the reason why you need to practice on your own beforehand so you can determine what is kind of nice and good pain that won't hurt your body and what is bad pain. So there is good pain and bad pain, and you need to practice with your body so you can know which is which. So when you feel one pain, you can go, yes, I'm feeling pain, but go slow, I'm okay. But if you're feeling a horrible sour pain or a pain that makes you want to feel sick, then you want to stop. One of the other things that they are not disclosing is that a lot of people who do fisting or who do any anal play, if it's their first time, they can actually feel sick in the stomach, right? They actually feel sick. And so this is a sensation that they need to practice to get over. And this is one of the reasons why you want to practice on your own first, so you get over the sickness feeling. Not everybody gets this feeling, but a lot of people do. So you want to make sure that you train your body to get over that sickness feeling to go into the pleasure feeling. Because it's a lot better to do anal with someone when you go to the pleasure feeling than going sick, okay? Because, that can cause tension, and that can make people feel guilty, and that can make people not want to do it again, okay? So you want to make sure that both partners are doing whatever they can so you can both have a great experience together. And a lot of times that includes preparation that could last a few months.
So there you have it, that's fisting.
Okay, so she said nothing about cleaning. So as I mentioned before, the reason why you clean is one, for hygiene, for the respect of your partner, and so you don't have any accidents. And you want to practice douching before you even try fisting. So you want to know what your body does when you douche it, how much you need to douche, or how much rest you need to have after you douche before you do any anal play. The other thing is that you want to make sure that when you practice douching, a lot of people scrub their asses too much, which makes their ass red raw and a little wheezy. So they can abrase their asshole for washing too hard. That actually compromises any anal play, because what it means is you've broken the skin, which means that around that area, if any anal juice gets onto that broken skin, it can create an unhealthy situation. So this is the other reason why you want to practice douching first, so you get used to doing it and washing your ass in a healthy way so you don't abrase yourself and compromise your ass. Another thing that these guys don't talk about is the potential of getting air in the cavity. Now, it's not that much of a problem when the ass is really, really tight, but it is possible according to how you put your hand in. If you accidentally open the ass up and air slips in, there is going to be some farting, which is normal. The best thing to do is have a little laugh, right? Because farting is funny, right? So the best thing to do is just to pull it out and just use one finger to go in and hold the ass down a little bit to create an opening so the air can come out, and you should be right to go again. So don't let things like farting stop you. Allow them to happen, and they are funny, so you can laugh at it. So it's going to be embarrassing for the one being fisted, but seriously, they should be at a level that something like this is okay and it's not going to affect their pride. If they're not at this level, they shouldn't be fisting, really. Because this thing is a very intimate and emotional activity.
Some people see it as humiliation, but like me, I find that my body is entering someone else's, so I find it very sensual and very connecting, and sometimes I find it very spiritual. So fisting for some is about thrill, it's about humiliation, it's about pushing the body to its limits, it's about challenging yourself. But for other people like me, it's about emotional connection because it really makes me emotionally connect with my partner when I fist.
The other thing that they don't talk about is preparing the area. You want to make sure that you're on a really good surface, that it's not too bouncy if you're on your hands and knees, and you want to make sure that you're using at least a towel down underneath you. Do not use anything slippery underneath you because, if any anal juice or any lube gets on it, it becomes difficult and unsafe. So you want to make sure you have a towel. You also want to make sure you have a whole box of gloves so you can swap and change with a little plastic bag garbage bin beside. You also want to make sure you have wet wipes as well in case there's any accidents. You need to be psychologically prepared that yes, there might be accidents. Accidents happen for many reasons. Even if you've douched properly, even if everything is perfect, right? This is just part of anal play. So you both need to be prepared for that. Also, you need to do it in a space where you can see, especially if it's your first time. You need to be in a lit space so the person who's fisting can properly see the arse and what's happening with the arse. Especially if maybe inside their arse, the capillaries are really close to their skin and it's easy to pop them. And there might be a little bit of blood and things like that. You need to be able to see the arse properly so you can see anything that happens to it. If the arse is abrased, if there's a little blood, if there's a little bit of poop coming out. If you can't see this, it is a safety issue.
So here are a few extra pointers. Some people have hemorrhoids, so it's really important to actually feel inside the arse first with your fingers, of course gloved, so you know if a person has hemorrhoids, how many they have, where they are, because sometimes if they're in the track where you're actually fisting, you could abrase them and, sometimes it can cause pain. So, it's very important to investigate the arse that you're going to be fisting first. The other thing that nobody tends to tell you is that because fisting is so extreme for the body, it overrides everything else that is happening. So you know how you can only feel pain in one place at one time? Okay, it's similar with pleasure as well. So if your ass is being stimulated, most cocks go limp, and that is completely normal, right? So when the ass is being stimulated so much, the body just focuses on the ass. So a lot of the times the cock is soft. However, for some men, they might get an erection. Usually if they're well trained and their body recognizes that fisting is pleasurable, they will likely get an erection. And what's more is that sometimes when you fist, they can have a cock orgasm without even touching. And I call this an immaculate orgasm. So, the pleasure of having your ass fisted can bring a man to cock orgasm. So can you imagine both having cock orgasms and assgasms all at once? That's, pretty incredible. Also, I know that with fisting, I've had friends who, when they're fisted, they will squirt from it. It's so pleasurable. So the body is amazing. We can explore it. So once safety and consent is in place, everything's a go.
Now, one of the last things that they don't talk about is that you need to do fisting with someone you trust, with someone who will actually listen to you, that you have good communication with. So you need to already have these things in place with the person that you're doing fisting with first. I hope you learned a little bit. For me, it's a little horrifying that 225,000 people have heard this incorrect information. And I just hope that if they've even attempted to do fisting, that they saw a better video. And I would encourage LoveHoney to take this video down so they don't cause any harm to anyone.